Hey guys, welcome back into another Movement Parallels Life video practice. Today we're getting into a high intensity interval session with our typical movement goodness, of course. We're going to start off with a quick 5-minute mobility warm-up. The workout today is going to be heavy on crawling, so we'll spend our warm-up time mobilizing our wrists and shoulders, our spines, and stretching out our legs. For the sake of time, I edited things down to 5 minutes for this video, and as you can see, we're already starting things off with some wrist mobilizations, so let's keep on with that. Be sure to press in through the fingertips as you rock your weight forward. Sitting in a flexed foot kneel here to stretch out the bottoms of my feet while I work on my wrists, my active range of control in wrist extension. Moving on to spinal articulation here, starting with flexion and extension, but don't be afraid to get a little weird with this. I like to visualize my spine like a snake, bending and twisting and articulating in all these different ways. Keep the effort soft and coordinate your breathing with your movements. Remember to stay active in these kneeling step outs. Get grounded and use the strength of your legs and your hips to pull yourself into the ground. Find different seated positions, add reaching and rotating to create the stretch that feels best for you. So that quick 5-minute intro just gives you a chance to mobilize and check in with your body, see where you're at today. Hopefully you're feeling good, all systems are go, and you're ready for the workout. We're going to get into these intervals and turn up the intensity. We'll be going through a series of 9 movements of varied intensity, 60 seconds per movement for 2 consecutive rounds. Leading this off is the bent sit butt spin. You're going to be focusing on keeping your core strong and using your legs to quickly spin and change orientation. This is a moderate intensity interval, and then we're going to bring things up to a high intensity with the next movement. All right, our first high intensity interval is going to be the crawl pass under transition. Now, a minute's a long time, so you can start slowly, find the rhythm behind the movement. Then you can begin to increase the intensity by picking up speed or adding a jump into a tuck handstand through the transition. You're looking to find the right version of this movement pattern for you, the one that's strong and stable and controlled and allows you to increase the intensity, feel that heart rate rise, and start to bring some heat into this workout. We'll transition into the active recovery interval. For this first wave, it's going to be rock ups. Now, just because this is active recovery doesn't mean that you get to check out. No, I want you to keep playing with the movement, feel how every rep is unique, and how can you start to experiment and mold this movement to make it work better for you. Start wave 2 here. Our moderate intensity interval is the foot hand crawl. So you're on hands and knees and working on that contralateral movement. Opposite hand and foot are stepping together, and also challenging yourself to maybe not just move forward and backward, but move around in space. Change your orientation, move sideways and rotationally. Start to vary this movement. Focus on keeping the quality high. So your ground contact should be light, your breathing should be relaxed and deep, and you should maintain this crawling position with strength and length. For our high intensity interval, we've got a crawl to jump to crawl landing. This is a tough one. To be honest with you, I was kind of regretting putting it in, but here we are. Let's do it. vary the intensity within this minute, starting with these little push-offs that transition into these little jumps, and then you can start to build, get more dynamic from there, and see what kind of version of this movement you want to play with. Next active recovery interval, the prone extension with the overhead reach. Got some time to chill out here, but also experiment with this movement, play around with it. Hunt around with all those different angles that you can reach at. Play around with making the transition from side to side as smooth as possible. And you can even play around with a fun transition, staying in that low prone position and spinning around on your stomach. It's these little efforts of coordination and making sure that we can move smoothly that just help this overall adaptive ability and just keeps us from going into autopilot. We're heading into our third wave now, back to moderate intensity with V-ups. I'm gonna shoot for about 20 V-ups here and then hold that V-sit position for the remainder of the interval. Can you tell I got a little bit of struggle going on here, but just a few seconds left. Right into our high intensity interval. Got a sequence here, a rolling get up, a jump, and an alternating tripod. And start slowly, find the link between these movements and get a rhythm established. I really have to stay focused through that fatigue to find and keep that rhythm. On to active recovery and our final movement of this first round, a bridge variation of your choice and a back roll. Make any necessary modifications to these movements to ensure that you can breathe fully and that you can relax and actually make this a bit of a recovery period. that's the end of round one. You've just got a few seconds to catch your breath, wipe the sweat. We're gonna get right into round two. You know the patterns. Now it's time for another round, putting in that quality work. Starting off, bent sit spins. Get ready to bring it as we move on to the crawl pass under transitions. Start slow, find the rhythm, and then turn up the intensity. Next, we got our rock ups for active recovery. Dialing things back up, transition into your foot hand crawling. All right, you guys, here we go. Bringing the high intensity with crawl jumps. slowing things down and getting back to our breath. Active recovery with prone extension and reach. Last wave here. We're back to our moderate intensity interval, V-ups and V-sit hold. Last high intensity interval today, we've got that sequence, get up, jump, and tripod. Finishing the interval portion of our workout today with the bridge and back roll. When the work is complete, the process of recovery begins. So let's settle in for a few minutes of chill out time. You can follow me through some stretches or just do your own thing, whatever you need to do to start to calm your system down. Now, as your breathing stabilizes and your heart rate returns to normal, let's take a few moments to check back in and debrief. No matter what your specific fitness goals may be, there's an internal shift that takes place whenever we practice. Now, in the afterglow, in this chill out time, can be a really great opportunity to begin to process our takeaways and our lessons. Now, for this, I'm big on questions that make you think. So my question for you to round out today is, what will you take from today's practice into the rest of your day, into your everyday life? Now, it doesn't have to be anything super profound. Really, it's just about acknowledging the hard work that you put in and finding the meaning behind it, getting connected back to your why. What brought you here? For me, I'll take away a sense of accomplishment for getting up on a Sunday morning and honoring the commitment that I made to myself to get up and shoot this video. And the way I see it is, this is a practice of generating positivity and empowerment in our own lives. So when we go out into the everyday world, we spread that, we give that, we pass that on to others. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in, for moving with me, and for being open to exploring some of these ideas. It's always a pleasure to share with you. So until we get to train again, take good care of yourselves, live your practice, and love your practice.